Tonight, grizzly bear attack. A hunter rushed to hospital after an encounter near Calgary. Students speak out.
Because education matters. It's like a basic requirement.
Class walkouts are held across Alberta. And the art of Halloween.
It's a little bit of this, that, and everything.
A Calgary Arts Hub opens its doors for some spooky fun.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Sean Frenet.
Good evening. A hunter is in Foothills Hospital tonight after being mauled by a grizzly bear this afternoon. Fish and Wildlife says they got a report of the attack south of Cochrane at 1 p.m. The victim, a man in his 30s, was airlifted by stars. Officials say the bear involved in the attack was shot by the survivor's hunting partner, and the bear is believed to be dead. A second bear fled the scene. Wildlife officers will collect DNA samples from the survivor to confirm that the bear that was shot was the attacking bear. They will also investigate what led to the encounter. Safety experts say attacks on hunters happen all too often. Just a few days ago, a BC hunter, 63-year-old Joe Pendry, died from a blood clot while recovering from a grizzly bear attack. Pendry was hunting for elk in the Fort Steele area when he came across a sow and her cubs. He shot at, punched, and bit the bear in his fight for survival. A man has died after an incident in the loading dock area of a southeast Calgary business. Police say the victim was in his 60s. He was hit by a large truck over the noon hour. Paramedics rushed him to Foothills Hospital in critical, life-threatening condition, but he died this afternoon. The collision reconstruction team from the police traffic unit responded to the scene. Police and occupational health and safety continue their investigation. Calgary police are searching for a 2012 to 2018 black GMC pickup potentially involved in a hit and run late last night. Just before 11 p.m. at 68th Street near 43rd Avenue Northeast, investigators say a man was hit by a vehicle that failed to stop. Police say the pedestrian was taken to hospital and his injuries were later determined to be minor. Calgary streets are becoming deadlier for pedestrians. Traffic fatalities have reached a 10-year high, and officials say it's time for a cultural shift on road safety. Mark Villani reports on how technology backers and communities are pushing to prevent the next tragedy.
Amanda Lovig-Hag holds her breath every time she attempts to cross this street in her community.
This intersection at Elbow and 61st is a nightmare. We've had multiple near misses here, a few big catastrophes.
This is where 56-year-old Ralph Lindenblot was killed last November, struck by two vehicles in the middle of a marked crosswalk. Even before his death, community members were already petitioning the city for flashing beacons or traffic lights.
It's baffling to me that it isn't something they're working on because it's preventable.
But less than a year later, the number of traffic fatalities continues to climb. Since 2017, Calgary's annual fatal collisions have more than doubled, and pedestrian deaths are up sharply.
Enforcement alone is not enough. We need a cultural shift in how we approach road safety.
Police say fatal collisions share a common thread: speed, distraction, and inattention.
Give time at a pedestrian crossing. If you're there, wait for the vehicles to slow down. When you're behind the wheel of a car as a driver, you are in charge of that vehicle, so you need to give it your full attention.
Meanwhile, the city is turning to technology, beginning to use artificial intelligence to analyze traffic activity around 17,000 intersections. The city says it has a 90% accuracy rate for predicting collisions. A similar study by the Alberta Motor Association found 1 in 770 Calgary pedestrians is nearly getting hit by a vehicle on city streets.
Is there something specific about the design? Is there something about the timing of the signals? Is there something about the field of vision?
As for trouble intersections like Elbow and 61st, one of Calgary's newest councillors pledges to act. It's unacceptable that a fatality occurred here. Our goal is to prevent future tragedies by working together with residents, the city, and first responders.
The main thing we need is for council to actually respond to our concerns.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
Teachers may be forced back to work after their strike, but high school students upset with the provincial government kept up the pressure today. Thousands of teenagers across the province coordinated walkouts. Stephanie Thomas reports.
Just as school was supposed to be getting back to normal, Henry Wisewood students walked out in support of their teachers.
They don't have fair payments. They don't have fair class sizes.
I felt really hurt, like personally, by the actions that the government has been taking with the teachers.
Well, because education matters. It's like a basic requirement.
Students organized walkouts at dozens of schools all over the city and province. Students from downtown schools marched towards City Hall.
The government, they're over, they're abusing their power. They don't need to be doing that.
Many youth are protesting the legislation tabled Monday by the UCP government, which ended the almost month-long teacher strike, and the use of the notwithstanding clause, which allows the province to override charter rights.
They have less rights than me and Sergey here. They are less than because of the laws that have just been put into place.
Any teachers remaining off the job would risk punitive fines. They went back to work Wednesday. One labor expert says student demonstrations sends a pointed message to the province.
Oh, the poor kids. We have to think of the kids, right? And while the kids are saying, or at least a good chunk of them, are saying, no, you're treating the teachers unfairly. I think that's an important counter message.
The ATA says students are also standing up for themselves. Provincial labor leaders say they will move more measured and slowly in organizing its response, which may come in a general strike.
Over the coming weeks and months, we will use all the tools at our disposal to remove them from government democratically.
The finance minister says it's unaware of illegal organized activity and will respond accordingly. Stephanie Thomas, CTV News, Calgary.
Many students are calling for January diploma exams to be made optional, just as the province decided for November. The Education Minister's office says an announcement about January is coming soon. Protesters rallied outside the Education Minister's constituency office tonight as a petition is circulating to recall him. About 15 people gathered outside of Dimitrios Nicolaides' Calgary Bow office. Protesters say Nicolaides has failed to support public education while prioritizing privatization and funding charter schools. Nicolaides responded by saying using the recall process to overturn an election based on policy disagreements undermines stable governance and the electoral process.
I realized that this situation directly impacts students, and if students don't speak out, others may speak for us. And we are simply uninterested in that. We know that classroom caps must happen because that is how feasible education happens.
The recall petition applicant has until January 21st to collect about 16,000 signatures, or 60% of the total votes cast in the riding when the minister was elected in 2023. The newly elected Calgary Catholic School Board has chosen its chair. Ward 6 and 8 trustee Lori Avinelli has been chosen to fill the position. The former teacher has been on the board since 2017. Wards 1, 2 and Cochrane trustee Myra D'Souza has been elected vice chair. She's also been on the board since 2017. A public meeting on Alberta's main long-term savings account was held tonight. The Legislative Assembly Standing Committee on the Alberta Heritage Savings Trust Fund invited people to hear its latest report and ask questions. The fund has assets of nearly $28 billion. It grew by $451 million during the first quarter. One teacher tonight asked the committee if interest from the fund could be used to help fund teachers' funding demands that were highlighted in this month's strike.
Our education system is being deluged right now. Absolutely deluged. This is not just a rainy day. This is a monsoon. The difference was $2 billion. If I do a little quick math, $2 billion over 4 years, that's about $500 million a year. Boy, we closed the gap quickly without touching the principle.
The questions you have are more towards government policy than they are regarding our AIMCO, Treasury Board and Finance guests here today. But we do thank you for your question. Your question is, we've received several questions on that theme.
The government's goal is to grow the fund to $250 billion by 2050. Charges are pending after hundreds of animals were recovered from a shelter in northwestern Alberta. RCMP, the Alberta Animal Rescue Crew Society, or ARCS, and the Canadian Animal Task Force spearheaded the rescue operation at 2 properties in the Valley View area. More than 290 animals, including dogs, cats, horses, and other livestock, were found at the 2 properties, which were operating as an animal rescue. Organizations say the animals were in urgent need.
The conditions that the animals were living in were quite poor. There were a handful of animals that did have to be euthanized due to distress on site. Our teams have been working hard to make sure that everybody else is okay.
Several animal welfare organizations across the province are now looking for new homes for these animals. Meteorologist Danielle Savoni is sporting her support for the Blue Jays tonight. Looking good, Danielle.
Thanks. What a win last night.
It was amazing. And tomorrow we'll find out if they'll win the whole thing. And a lot of trick-or-treaters are going to find out if the weather is good.
Yeah. And I mean, you could go out, get a lot of candy, and then go watch the game. It's a great scenario. And the weather's actually panning out quite nicely for us. Now, I will recap this again a little later in the show, but just a quick look. Cool to start with a wind chill of -4. We're looking at a daytime high of 9 for tomorrow. And by trick-or-treating time, especially for the littles, 5:36 p.m., we'll be at about 7 degrees. You all know, though, as soon as that sun sets, it starts to get cool quite quickly. So layers are a very good thing for tomorrow. The winds will pick up a little bit to 30 kilometers per hour, and the clouds will increase around those supper hours in that trick-or-treating time. Midnight tonight is the early bird prize deadline in the Hospital Home Lottery. You could win the $1 million Canmore condo built by Spring Creek, plus $25,000 cash. Get your tickets before midnight tonight at CalgaryHospitalHomeLottery.com.
Thank you, Danielle. Well, be sure to keep your eyes peeled for trick-or-treaters tomorrow. Partners in Safety will have hundreds of vehicles out providing high visibility support to families enjoying Halloween. That means police, fire, ambulance, transit, and peace officers will be patrolling neighborhoods. Anyone who needs help can simply ask and can also find shelter at police and fire stations and any public transit. Ensuring safety requires everyone to pitch in.
Reduce your speed a lot more, be more aware of pedestrians around on the street, and certainly the smaller pedestrians, certainly on Halloween.
Parents are reminded to make sure kids can be seen in the dark. Also, avoid using real candles, check candy before it's eaten, and keep pets in a safe place. C-Space opened its doors to the public tonight for a Halloween showcase. The all-ages event featured art, mystery, and playful Halloween magic inside the historic King Edward School in Marda-Loop. There were ghost tours, spooky dance lessons, tarot readings, and trick-or-treating. The event brings Calgary's arts community together for a night of imagination and fun.
The October Showcase event is an opportunity where we can open up the doors of our creative hub to the community, to welcome in the public free of charge, to just wander and explore and see what this wondrous place has to offer. It is a collection of immersive experiences that include our tenants and visiting artists that are essentially doing programming throughout the halls, throughout our spaces.
There are stories of the C-Space building being haunted by the spirit of a young boy. The school opened in 1912, and several people say they have witnessed unusual activity like sudden temperature drops and feeling a hand touching their shoulder. Jeremy Farkas is promising a different approach. Still to come, reaction to the new mayor's State of the City speech to a business audience.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
Calgary's new council has less than a month to make changes to the city's multi-billion-dollar budget. A property tax hike is proposed, but the new mayor says he wants to change that. Jordan Canagan has more on Jeremy Farkas's first major public speech.
Calgary's mayor says his new council will take a different approach to shaping the city.
City Hall needs to listen better. Our mayor and council need to listen to Calgarians and better include the input, the ideas, the policy, the research, the leadership that we're hearing.
In a sold-out room of business leaders, Jeremy Farkas delivered his first State of the City address, and the mayor turned his attention to taxes.
We're going to be working hard for Calgarians to bring down the tax increase that was proposed from this previous council.
Just hours after being sworn in Wednesday night, the new mayor and council will march towards a budget discussion next month, with spending to boost safety at the top of the list.
If people don't feel safe, they're not going to be
living in the city that they are taxpayers in, and so we really need to make sure that there are no deterrents for people to, be part of the business community, to take part in entertainment activities.
The city's already committed to paying for more officers, and a new 24/7 downtown police station is being floated. Groups representing the Corps say those improvements are needed.
But seeing the city coming forward with their part, which is the increased safety requirements based on what we're seeing on transit today and in the downtown, is paramount to the success for Calgary going forward.
But what could be rolled back or cut from the budget in order to lower taxes isn't known. The mayor couldn't provide specifics, only saying those discussions are ongoing.
They want to see value for money in terms of all of the services that are being delivered, and that's really been our focus in the last couple days.
Jordan Cadigan, CTV News, Calgary.
The mayor says any changes to blanket rezoning won't be discussed in council chambers until after November's budget. Canadian summer tourism numbers have hit an all-time high thanks to increased domestic spending as many people boycott American travel for political reasons. New data from Crown Corporation Destination Canada shows the industry brought in a record-breaking amount of revenue between May and August. It surpassed $59 billion, up 6% from last year. Our province had a 9% increase.
2024 was record-breaking. We were pretty excited to see the numbers from last year, and this year we're really on track for another great season. So it's more than just the numbers, though. It's actually about what that is doing for the economy and how that's actually affecting people's businesses. So that means businesses are thriving. People are making money here.
Destination Canada says national hotel occupancy is also way up. No snow on the ground, no storms in the forecast, looking pretty decent for Halloween. Trick-or-treaters. Danielle Savoni will be back here in a moment with her full Skywatch forecast.
Well, today was a very nice, calm fall day, and you can expect similar conditions for tomorrow. All right, 10 degrees was the daytime high in Calgary today, 8 for Edmonton, 4 for Regina. In southern Alberta, what you had today is pretty similar to the temperatures you're going to get tomorrow. We have pretty quiet conditions out there as well. So let's talk about the hour by hour for tomorrow, because tomorrow is a very big day. Halloween day. It will be sunny for much of the day, but by the time we get to trick-or-treating hours, especially for the little ones, closer to 5:30, those clouds will start to increase. We're also looking at the winds picking up a little bit. It shouldn't be excessive, but we are looking at 20, even 30 kilometer per hour gusts possible around those supper hours, early trick-or-treating time. Okay, I'll break it down for you. Keep in mind, it's a cool one to start. So layers are important for tomorrow because a lot of the kiddies, for example, will be wearing their costumes to school. -4 is what it will feel like with the wind chill at 8 a.m. We're getting to a high of 9 at 4 p.m. and then by 6 p.m. we'll be down to 7 degrees. The winds get a little breezy, very small chance of showers, so we don't really have to worry about that, but certainly the clouds will increase and it will be mainly cloudy. By the time we reach 9 p.m., we'll be at 5 degrees in the city. Okay, longer range forecast. Saturday will be the warmest of the next 5, in fact, the next 10 days, with a high of 14 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. By Sunday, though, that will be we're looking at single-digit highs, but Sunday we actually gain an hour. So before you go to bed Saturday night, make sure to set your clocks back an hour. All right, and then we hang on to those daytime highs in those single digits Sunday, Monday, and much of next week. Midnight tonight is the early bird prize deadline in the Hospital Home Lottery. You could win the $1 million Canmore condo built by Spring Creek plus $25,000 cash. Get your tickets before midnight tonight at CalgaryHospitalHomeLottery.com.
Thank you, Danielle. The Flames desperately wanted a road win tonight, and the Senators gave them all they could handle in Ottawa. Highlights coming up. Going into tonight's game, the Calgary Flames had not won on the road since their first game of the season, which was a win in Edmonton. They tried to get their second win in Ottawa. Devin Cooley making his second start of the season in goal, and the offense gives him some support early. Flames on the power play. Joel Farabee over to Igor Sharangovich. He will fire this one past Linus Ullmark. That's a good start for the Flames in this one. The Sens get it back on that same 4-minute power play. Flames with the sloppy play. Sens break out on the 2-on-1. Cooley stops Shane Pinto, but not Lars Eller. We're tied at 1 apiece. The Flames regain the lead later in the first. They're on another power play. Morgan Frost in front to Matt Coronado. He will jam it past Ullmark. His third of the season, 2-1. Let's get back to Cooley because he played great tonight. Early in the second period, Sens are on the power play. Dylan Cousins with the shot, but just look at that glove save by Cooley. The Flames continue to hold on to that 2-1 lead after 2. It was 2-2 in the third period when the Flames regained the lead. Nazem Kadri scores to make it 3-2, but Ottawa would tie it up to make it 3-3 after regulation. Overtime settled nothing. In the shootout, Frost had to score here to prolong things, but he is denied. The Flames lose in the shootout. No real win tonight. They try again in Nashville Saturday. Calgary's Nicholas Taylor continues to tear it up on the racetrack in Europe. As Glenn Campbell reports, he's been setting records ever since he joined TCR Italy.
For the second year in a row, Calgary's Nicholas Taylor is the TCR Italy Drivers' Champion. Taylor says he felt a lot more pressure this season to defend his title.
It feels like I have everything to lose, right? Whereas the year before, I was like, okay, nothing to lose, everything to gain. So it was a bit of a different mindset change, and it was a little bit more difficult overall, just mentally and I guess just racing with the competitors of mine. But no, in the end, we came home with a fantastic result once again.
How good has Taylor been in his 2 years in TCR Italy? Well, he's racked up 5 race wins, which is a record.
I don't think it's sunk in yet. You know, everybody around me is saying it's pretty spectacular and it's absolutely unbelievable to have now have a TCR racing record, like official world record in the TCR world under my name. It doesn't really feel real because I know some of my competitors who have been racing in TCR for 15 and 20 years have not achieved something like this.
Taylor achieved the goal with only 2 years of racing under his belt. He's won every championship there is to win in TCR Italy. So where does he go from here?
TCR Italy, there's nothing left for me. So I will shift my focus now to coaching in the TCR Italy. I will look for drivers from karting and bring them into TCR and shape them into what I've achieved in the TCR Italy world. But as for my racing plans, it's still quite unknown.
Taylor can afford to be patient. With his resume, he's in a position to get paid, whatever series that happens to be in.
And I guess on the trajectory that I'm going, you know, carrying now 5 driver titles in the last 2 years, it's setting me up to be on a good path for this. So I think I just need to keep pushing, and we'll see what the next opportunity is.
Glenn Campbell, CTV Sports, Calgary.
Amazing accomplishments on the racetrack in Italy, that's for sure. Well, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Have a good night and have a good, safe Halloween tomorrow.